and welcome to the Zen of Guitar technique method. This is a little video I decided to do in order to describe briefly what the method is about, so that you can decide whether it's something you would like to put time into it and look up the book and whatnot. Now, whether you want to buy the book or join my mailing list or not, that's actually secondary to me. What's most important is that you're actually viewing the video right now. By merely watching this video, you're pretty much encouraging me to do what I love, so thank you for that. I appreciate it, and hopefully you will be able to make the most out of this method. What is the Zen of Guitar technique method? I've got a couple of notes. I decided to go over my notes while making this video, just to be as cohesive and as brief as I can, but at the same time as sincere, because a lot of videos with the purpose of presenting some kind of introducing some kind of book or whatever, they usually are presented by salesmen or paid actors that basically learned a script by heart. I don't like that. I feel that is a little bit insincere, and to me, as a student myself of the guitar, because you never really master any form of art, really. So all artists are always students. Being a student of the guitar, I really like to get a feel of the personality of the author and who it is that is presenting certain ideas to me. So having said that, I decided to just merely go through some notes I put down, and hopefully this will be a fun video to watch. Okay, so what is the Zen of Guitar technique method? The Zen of Guitar technique is about the art of practicing guitar and how to minimize the time of practicing necessary while maximizing results. The goal is to present a cohesive explanation and hands-on methodology on how to maximize the quality of your guitar practice time. That was my initial, that was the initial goal of creating this method. And the reason I decided to create such a method was merely for my personal practice. I just wanted to find a way that would be fun for me, a way that would make sense to follow, and a way that a method, if you will, that I know will give me certain results. So I went about writing this book merely for my personal development, and eventually it got to a point where I realized, I felt that I had a lot of insight that most of my friend guitar players did not, and so I decided to write a book about it and put it online. Now, with this method, beginners will learn the right habits and develop skills unexpectedly fast. The more advanced players will discover all the little habits that hinder their further development, and thus overcome any so-called plateaus, where one keeps practicing and sees no improvement whatsoever. That was something that I experienced myself, and one of the main reasons I decided to start developing a method with which I will go about developing my skill, and consequently, eventually, by developing my skill, be able to express myself more freely and with more colors, if you will, by playing the guitar. The principles of this method are summarized in only one page. Yes, only one page. So that is only pretty much all you have to remember while practicing. Now, that is all one needs to remember while practicing. Okay, I already said that. The rest of the book is around 100 pages long and is a detailed explanation of which one of these principles, for a more in-depth understanding for the players that like to be more scholastic thinkers rather than intuitive, or need further clarifications for any reason. That is definitely true for beginners. Most of these principles are hopefully, I shouldn't say hopefully, I'm pretty sure most of these principles are presented in the book in a very cohesive way, and it took me a while to present them in such a way that makes immediately sense, and if you want, resonates within the reader's mind or heart, and so it has an impact such that you will remember, and you won't have to read the book a million times over and over again. The one page which outlines the core principles is something that I created after I finished writing the book, and I think it's the page that one should read first and always have as a reference point while practicing. Now, the book presents secrets the virtuosos have never revealed, and a breakthrough approach towards understanding the process of learning, which I have not come across in any other guitar method. I'm not saying that as a sales pitch to sell a couple of more books. I'm sincere about it. I have not come across any other book that describes the principles that I'm describing in the Zen of Guitar technique method. Now, I'll let that up to you to decide if that is true or not. I don't mean to be pompous or make any outrageous sales pitch like most people seem to be doing online nowadays. When I say the secrets, I'm not necessarily insinuating that virtuoso players go about consciously thinking that they will keep certain tricks of the trade secrets for themselves and their few chosen students or whoever. What happens is the talented people, which in many cases are also, the virtuosos are rather talented in developing guitar skill. The talent that they have is the intuitive understanding of some of these principles, not all of them usually. And because of that, they develop their guitar playing skill way faster than most other students. And they get to a point where they play much better than everybody else, and everybody else calls them talented. But that doesn't really mean anything except that they were able to do something better and in less time than everybody else. Now, I decided to look into what it is that makes a talented person, a talented guitar player, talented. And it's the understanding of those principles. Now, a lot of virtuosos understand these principles intuitively, and consequently they're not able to communicate them, they're not able to teach them. They do not understand what it is that they understand, which other guitar players do not. And so most virtuosos unfortunately put out DVDs and whatnot, and they're all interesting, but they merely present their own licks and their own music, and they don't really go deep into the matter of how can one develop skill on the guitar most efficiently. In other words, going back to the premise of what the Zen of Guitar technique method is about. Another principal concern while writing the method was to allow the students' personal taste and unique individual artistic flair to unravel and fully flourish as a developing guitar artist. This is not a stern and dogmatic method that will put you in a box. It's exactly the opposite. With this method, you can practice 100% any music you like to play, and this method does not dictate any stylistic boundaries whatsoever. The principles of maximizing the quality of your practice are just the same and equally valid, regardless style and music genres, regardless stylistic orientation. The way these principles are demonstrated through this method allow for complete freedom on choosing to practice whatever music material you enjoy the most. Alternatively, you can follow specific exercises provided in the book. The exercises are specific, but I've allowed for each player to create his or her own exercises if desired. Now, these exercises are merely tools to explain through the exercises the way of thinking, the way of approaching guitar practice. And if you want to stick with those exercises, that's fine. If you just want to learn songs, you can just learn songs, and you will follow the principles of the method, and you will become a better guitar player way faster than your friends that unfortunately miss out on most of these principles. Now, the presentation of this method is divided in two parts. Part 1 of the method was a result of studying various academic work on the process of human learning, I already mentioned that, as well as modern psychology and the philosophy of the Zen artists. A specific state of mind is described that presents clearly the most efficient way regarding optimizing the guitar learning process. All guitar players sooner or later notice that once a certain guitar part or entire piece has been practiced and learned, there is no thinking really involved in the process of performing. Essentially, it is as if the fingers do the motions on their own. In other words, the conscious side of your mind is not engaged, and your subconscious mind is doing all the playing through your fingers. So one of the principal concerns was to find the most efficient way to access the subconscious mind, the subconscious part of you, and allow it to absorb, learn particular emotions. As far as I am aware, this is the first time this information is presented in modern guitar education literature, and I'm truly excited to present this to people that care for developing their playing. Now, part 2, equally important, is part 2 of this method. Here, all the subtleties involved in all the various individual guitar techniques are explained in detail. Here, various core principles are presented, which can be considered at all times to avoid learning bad habits, and always ensure you are teaching yourself the most efficient way to perform whatever sounds you decide to perform, whatever sounds you like. The core principles are pretty much the same when it comes to tackling, when it comes to teaching yourself to create any sound on the guitar. Now, the ideas behind this method are, well, I would say the way the ideas behind this method are presented is such that anyone will understand without effort. Now, that's only because I put a lot of effort to make these ideas, to present them in a cohesive way. It doesn't necessarily mean that these ideas are very easy to notice. Now, there's a paradox. Most of these ideas are, I would say, pretty obvious once explained, and that is why certain guitar players do stumble upon them intuitively, and they don't even realize that it's something that most other guitar players do not realize and do not notice and do not implement as part of the process of practicing and learning a song, a guitar solo, or writing even their own music and playing it on the guitar. Nevertheless, due to the subtle nature of these ideas, they go unnoticed. I guess I've already covered this. I'll read it through my notes because I think I put it in a nice way. Nevertheless, due to the subtle nature of these ideas, they go unnoticed by almost all players, even by players that have been practicing and playing professionally for a whole lifetime, including guitar teachers and virtuosos themselves. Virtuosos who do it but do not know how to teach it because they don't really know what it is they understand intuitively that others do not. A great player is not necessarily a great teacher. Having said that, I'm not insinuating that I am a great teacher. That is up to you to decide. And you can check out the book if you want to. The good thing is you can, because I offer a 100% money back guarantee, like a lot of online methods nowadays. And I think that's a great practice, because it allows people to basically fully explore the material that is being sold. And so I would not expect you to trust me with your money just because I am doing a presentation video or an advertising type of video. So there's a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You can buy the book, and if you don't like it, if you feel it's not helping you, which I find rather unlikely, but for whatever reason, if you want to return the book, you can just send me an email and I will send your money back. No questions asked. Now, the two parts in the book essentially bridge the two main functions of the totality of a human being trying to learn the guitar. These are the mental aspect regarding learning, and the physical aspect regarding performing with your hands and fingers, of course. The players that seem to have a talent in developing technical dexterity very fast in relation to all other guitar players seem to intuitively take for granted certain principles, and I already mentioned that, I apologize. Once these principles are pointed out, anyone can develop guitar technique in a very brief period of time with less effort and less time necessary. In a nutshell, developing a solid guitar technique on the guitar is not about practicing 10 hours a day for years until your face goes blue. It is more of a matter of an intelligent approach and an in-depth understanding of how to maximize the quality of your practice, the quality of your time spent playing the guitar. Whether you think you have talent or not, this method will make you play better than most players in the least time necessary. The only prerequisite is that you love music and guitar playing. Start practicing slow and gradually increase speed until you're able to play at the desired speed. Now that's what all virtuosos say, and then they just play their lick really slow and then they play it really fast, and they tell people, well, just start slow and build your way up. Well, this is far from being the most efficient way to learn new material on the guitar, and unfortunately, this is pretty much what most virtuoso tutorials teach. I already said that. As a matter of fact, this process will take you years on end to get to proficient level of playing, and because many players have used this approach towards practicing, they truly believe that it is the only way to proficiency in guitar playing. Learning guitar is about muscle memory. Not the right way to put it, because muscles do not have a brain. It is about consciously programming your subconscious mind and enabling the physical aspect, your hands and fingers, to execute specific motions in combination and in coordination in order for certain desired sounds to be performed. This distinction opens up a whole different way of looking at practicing and the process of learning. Now, another misconception. It takes years of hard practicing daily for several hours a day to reach an advanced level of playing. That's not true. Scientific research has shown that after a certain point, you're not really absorbing much information, and time must be allowed for the information already presented to your subconscious mind to be absorbed and integrated as part of your physical body. many great players have mentioned that they play the guitar for a couple of days and then they do not play for a couple of days, for a week. And when they pick it up again, they seem to be better somehow. Now that's a hint. Quality of practicing is way more important than quantity also. And that is also another thing to consider. Practicing makes perfect. Well, yes, it does. But also can make you worse. Yes. Let's think about it. If practicing guitar is a process of learning new habits, one can learn good habits or bad habits just the same. So if you're not careful and mindful of how you're practicing or playing, you can call it anything you like, practicing or playing, to me it's the same. So if you're not careful and mindful of how you are practicing, you could be learning habits that will hinder your ability to become better on the guitar. This in fact is the most common reason why professional guitar players reach a certain level and they do not seem to get any better throughout their career. This is the so-called plateaus, where players reach a certain level and from there do not seem to be able to figure out how to get any better. Good guitar players need strong hands. Not true at all. As a matter of fact, good guitar playing is about subtle motions accomplished by very small muscle groups and tendons. Most muscle engagement is usually a hindrance in developing dexterity, accuracy, speed, and even feeling. So anyway, I think this is enough about introducing the method. Maybe I could briefly introduce myself. I've written here, I love the guitar and I have been playing for more than 20 years. I decided to write a method on developing guitar technique and make a website in order to attempt to share my knowledge and hopefully inspire people to express through the guitar what cannot be expressed in words or otherwise. I personally find guitar playing a meditative practice, as well as many other things, as well as a tool for expressing myself, expressing feelings that our culture will not allow for whatever reason. But when you play the guitar, you can play it any way you like. You can play it loud, you can play it soft, you can play it fast, you can play it quick. And it doesn't mean anything besides the music that it makes. So, I hope to inspire people to do the same. To approach guitar playing as a tool for expressing themselves. Now, I don't know if this even matters, but I'll mention it because a lot of people ask for credentials. Who are you, mister? You want to sell me a book, right? I have completed 2 separate bachelor's and 2 master's degrees by the age of 24. One in music composition at the University of London, and one in acoustical engineering at the University of Southampton. I have decided to give up my day job and spent the last 2 years earning no money and devoting myself to formulating this method, as well as deepening my understanding of music and understanding of sound in general. I hope this method will be embraced by enough guitar players that will enable me to financially sustain the website and spend more time on publishing some more material on music education.